What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. I'm Nick Baker, and across from me, Shane Goode.
What's up?
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. But first things first, if you haven't already, go over to our Facebook page, give us a like, go over to our YouTube channel, and give us a subscribe, like, comment on anything that you want to like and comment on. And of course, click that little bell because, I always forget to tell people that, and you'll get notifications on whenever we post something new on our YouTube channel. And I have been posting more on the Instagram page. If you haven't noticed, go over there and give us a follow, and maybe you'll see some cool new stuff that we're throwing up there. But without further ado, what have we been up to, man? What have you been playing?
So, I haven't played a ton of things this week. Actually, I jumped a little back into Minecraft Dungeons because a couple other people are playing it, and we're just kind of like in between games. PoE releases on Friday, so it's kind of just waiting for Friday. The new season of TFT releases tomorrow, so I'm kind of just waiting for TFT tomorrow as well. So started playing some Minecraft Dungeons. Started playing a mobile game or a mobile port of Eve. It's called Eve Echoes or something like that, and it's for the phone. You can play it on your computer if you use BlueStacks. It's actually pretty good. It's a simplified version of Eve. It's like a really good beginner version of Eve. If you've always thought about playing something that's insanely large and is damn near infinite, and you don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of time doing it, the phone version's actually pretty good. You still have to spend a lot of time, just not a ridiculous amount of time, for the record.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that game is just meant for the grind.
Yeah, it invented the grind, I'll be honest with you. But what have you been playing,
man? So last week I finished the Avengers campaign, and that was pretty good, better than I expected it to be. It was pretty endearing throughout. The cast of characters, that obviously the Avengers, they switch you between them pretty frequently, and they introduce them in pretty unexpected ways, but also it's kind of follows a similar formula as some of the movies do. Mm-hmm. So you didn't feel like you were in kind of the deep end of the pool when new characters came in.
Yeah.
But Kamala Khan is definitely the main character, and it shows as such at the very end. She has like a really great heroic moment, and bringing her into the fold of the Avengers makes it feel like a complete cast. So I'm excited to see more of that. I dipped into the multiplayer a little bit, but it's not really grabbing me in the way that I thought it would. I've kind of dropped off it a little bit. I played a little bit more Madden, and that's kind of what I've been up to lately. I hurt my leg, so I haven't really been able to focus so much on gaming so much. So I've just been kind of watching some stuff and just trying to relax and heal up. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. So let's get into the big topics of the week here, because there is quite a lot to talk about. There's some exciting stuff coming in the future, and some really cool stuff that was announced this week too. So we'll start with the Ubisoft Forward that happened on Thursday, I believe. I looked up an IGN article here written by Matt Kim. It's just a list of all the things that were announced there, and we'll start with Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. And This is they're blowing the dust off this one for sure. This is it was kind of not really a surprise. I think a lot of people had this on their mind, at least in the gaming industry. A lot of people kind of saw the hints that this was coming. I think they had teased it a little while ago, maybe like 6 months, a year ago, that they were working on something like this. But when you look at the trailer, you really don't get, or at least in my opinion, you don't really get the vibe that they put like their full foot forward into this. The effort doesn't really seem like it's completely there to make this like a Final Fantasy VII type remake. It's kind of like a half step there. What did you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It does, when I watch the trailer, it seems a little bit more like it's not that it's like bad graphically, but it just doesn't seem like they cared as much.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem up to snuff for like what we expect. It especially like the latter part of this generation. I feel like a lot of games have really looked great. Looking at like Last of Us and
Hmm.
Spider Man, and even Gears of War for the Xbox side of things had like impressive lighting. So when you think of a remake of such an old game, and I guess this is coming out next year, next January. So
I mean,
it seems like they could kind of do some improvements on it by then, but I don't think that there's really going to be much change from what we saw.
yeah. Also, I don't know if there's like, I don't know if there's a following for this game or anything, but this kind of just seems random to me, like a Prince of Persia remake.
Yeah, I think they just kind of want to test the waters maybe for any kind of like future for the Prince of Persia franchise, because it did have a little bit of a spurt of popularity. There were a few movies made, I think. I
Hmm.
vaguely remember Jake Gyllenhaal being in one of those. So yeah, I don't know. I'll kind of be eyeing this one from the side. I don't think I'll really dip my toes into that pool, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
This next one, though, it was something that I was really excited about because I've been a fan of this cult classic for a really long time. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the beat 'em up game is coming back. They took it off of all the stores. I think there was some licensing issues with some of the music or
Hmm.
something, so they had to take it off all the stores completely. Um, but they're bringing it back. The whole soundtrack included. It's slated for holiday 2020 this year for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. I imagine it'll probably go onto the next gen as well at some point. But
Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you just miss something?
did I?
Hello? It's coming out on Stadia too. What the fuck, bro?
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to talk a little bit more about Stadia when we mentioned the next game.
Oh, I was just gonna make fun of it. So.
No, we'll move on though because there's not really a whole lot to say about Scott Pilgrim because I mean anybody that's interested knows about the game and anybody that's not it's just a cult classic. So I don't think that
All right.
I could vouch for it here, but I'll let people be interested by the sheer mystery of it all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, in that case,
So
we can make fun of Stadia now.
yeah, let's make fun of Stadia now by mentioning the fact that they're getting an exclusive
Hmm.
demo for Immortals Phoenix Rising, which, if you don't recognize the name, don't worry, because they just renamed Gods and Monsters, the game they announced a long time ago,
Yeah.
which, way better name, in my opinion. Uh, Immortals Phoenix Rising is kind of a mouthful, and it's kind of bumbly. A lot of people around the industry think the same thing.
Yeah.
The titular character's name is Phoenix. It's not spelt in the in any sort of way that you'd if you had somebody guess the spelling of this Phoenix, no one would ever guess it in a million years. But um, yeah, so Stadia is getting an exclusive demo of the game early, probably like a month early. I guess this one's coming out in November. Oh
Hmm.
no, December 3rd. So
Yeah.
maybe they'll get it early November. Um, this is pretty much a Zelda Breath of the Wild clone in every way, shape, and form.
100%, dude.
Other than the Greek mythology of it all, it's definitely just a copy and paste of that game and its style, and even down to the uh, graphical style of it all. It's just all there. I imagine that they'll kind of dive deeper into the DLC of certain things because Ubisoft really likes to kind of just go wild with their DLC a lot of the time, especially with their Assassin's Creed games. Sometimes they just bounce off the wall with all kinds of crazy ideas, especially now that they've been focused on the Greek mythology for quite a long time since the beginning of Odyssey. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see what kinds of DLC they actually add to this, but it does look fun. I will say that it looks like a good game to just like screw around with if the physics and all that are anything like The Legend of Zelda. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how people break the game, and
Yeah.
but there's kind of like an RPG aspect to it all. There's like numbers flying out of people, and health bars and all kinds of different stuff that wasn't necessarily in Breath of the Wild that might make it a little bit more jumbly and just loud on the screen. But
I mean, all right, correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of feel like this is if you took like you just took a game that was the skin of Breath of the Wild, but basically was the mechanics for as far as like um the health and like physical mechanics of the game and the way that like the game seems to function. It seems just like Destiny.
hmm,
Like very
you know,
very similar in the way that it kind of functions.
yeah, in the way that like kind of monsters will like spawn and you'll run up
Mhm.
to them, start clapping them, and there'll be numbers flying all over the place. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, other than like it obviously it doesn't physically look really anything like Destiny. Maybe some of the UI would a little bit, but like the world, like even just watching the video, the world looks literally just like Zelda.
Watching the video, the one thing that struck me immediately was the strange soundtrack that they decided to go with. It's like this um, weird, upbeat, jazzy remix of an older song, and it's doesn't really fit the style of the game at all. It's like yeah, it's really strange in my opinion. But yeah,
It's
I
funny.
don't know. I'm not even really lukewarm on this game. I'm kind of like room temperature on this game.
Room temperature.
So well, again, like the others, we'll have to wait and see what comes of this. They did show some gameplay that um, looked kind of interesting in some aspects, but in other ways, it seems like they're really kind of putting the finishing touches on this, and it will maybe not even be ready for that December 3rd, 2020 date. So we'll have to see. They're
Yeah.
jamming a lot of stuff into this last part of the year. Ubisoft is so. I don't think it would be a problem to let that one slip again.
I agree with that statement.
But anyway, on to I think the yeah. This will probably be the last one we mentioned because the rest of it's kind of just blasé in my opinion.
Randoms.
Um, the This one was actually one of the ones that struck me as interesting and kind of a unique flair that Ubisoft kind of brings to the table sometimes. It's called Riders Republic. This is a new IP from them. It's massively multiplayer. It's a sports, extreme sports, downhill biking, snowboarding, anything you can think of going downhill. You're going downhill with that. So it looks really interesting. The trailer and the gameplay that they showed looked really tight, and this it actually looked way more finished than any of the other ones. And I think this one's coming out next year, next February. So
Yeah, it's
what did you think of
already.
this?
So I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah.
I like the concept. And obviously I'm a big like skateboard, go outside, do sports type of guy. It's definitely interesting. I find it like looking it up. It's a lot of just like it seems like there's going to be a lot of in-game transactions. It's kind of hard to tell, but it does seem like there's going to be a lot of cosmetics. I don't think there'll be anything that will actually affect your play itself, but like a lot of skins. If you
Yeah.
look up like the basic, what is it? The basic game, the year one pass, and the ultimate pack. Like the ultimate pack is literally just 20 skins. I think it literally just says it's 20 different skins. So I think it'll be very Fortnite-esque when it comes to like skins and stuff like that, and I think that it'll be a lot of fun. Maybe just a game you can hop on for, like 20 minutes, an hour with your friends, and then just like screw around, have fun. You could pop it on when you're in between doing different things. You got 10 minutes here, you got 20 minutes there. Seems like that it would be kind of like a fun game to play like that.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. I think it's gonna be kind of this generation's not to like put down Tony Hawk in any way, but like this generation's Tony Hawk
Mm.
in that way where you're gonna jump in, kind of try and best each other's best scores, or because they said the different aspects of the game are going to be racing. There's going to be like scoring that you can do all while going downhill. So maybe they'll kind of combine those modes in a unique kind of way. So we'll
Hmm.
have to see more about it when they have their next Ubisoft Forward, which I'm not really sure when that's going to be. They don't really seem to be slating anything anytime soon. So I think this is the last big push before the fall season and November sales. So
Yeah.
on to our next big topic, though. This one is arguably the biggest topic of the week because the last topic is kind of speculation. But Xbox Series S
Yeah.
price was leaked early in the week, and then Xbox confirmed that on Twitter, and then made a Twitter post of both of the prices of the Xbox Series X and Series S, and confirmed it. Um, we have that post up on our Instagram page as well. I just kind of copied and pasted there if you want to see the legit post. But I have the specs and everything up here, and the price difference is quite drastic. If you ask me, the S coming in at a nice price of $299, and the Xbox Series X coming in at the kind of expected price of $499.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
definitely
what? Yeah,
expected.
what did you think of the Series S price? Because I think the X price, like I said, is pretty expected, and I think that's we'll get into it in a minute, but I think that's exactly what the PlayStation 5 is going to come in at as well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that I think we're gonna see very, very similar things when it comes to the PlayStation. I think that these prices are just about where I thought they would be. Um, I thought that they actually the Series S might be a little more expensive than it is, like $50 more expensive. Sure, it doesn't have like the optical drive and stuff like that, but I didn't expect them to drop the GPU. Like they actually dropped the GPU by a pretty substantial difference. I didn't expect that. They also dropped the base clock on the CPU, which I wasn't expecting that. It comes with less RAM as well. I didn't think they were gonna drop RAM. It comes with a less of a big of a M.2. So like there's quite a bit of things for them dropping $200 off the price tag, it does definitely drop the console's performance significantly.
Yeah, I like you. I didn't really expect them to drop it this much, and because they didn't immediately announce Xbox Series X along with X,
Hmm.
um, like how Sony displayed both their digital and physical, or digital and disc editions side by side. I kind of imagined Xbox doing a similar thing, but when they didn't, um, I don't know. I was a little skeptical at first that they would kind of chunk it away this much, but they're really going for value here. I think.
Yeah.
Again, it's digital only, so they don't have that disk drive. The storage is practically in half. You get 12 more gigabytes than 500, so it's a little bit more than half.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's interesting. I think that a lot of people are enticed by it just because even though the GPU is like a third of what the X is, it still seems to be above standard HD. It's 1440p at 60 FPS and up to 120 FPS, just like the Xbox Series X. So that itself is pretty interesting. Obviously, the X is going to be running at 4K and doing all those things too. So
Right.
I think it's a good entry level point for those people that aren't necessarily hardcore gamers and don't really have 4K TVs, or uh, just are in it to play casual Halo, or the just the Xbox Game Pass titles that come out with that every month. I think that's going to be a perfect downscale from the obvious hardcore console gamer Series X stylings. So
Yeah,
very interesting to see that it's coming out at the beginning of November. I think that a lot of games announcement or a lot of games release dates are coming after their date of November 10th. So it'll be good to have those next gen consoles already out. So, or, next gen console already out so that you can just immediately get those shiny new games on the new machine.
yeah. No, for sure. I think that there's a lot of stuff. Are you ready for the nerd that I prepared? The nerdiness?
Yeah, well, lay it on me, man, because I'm sitting here, I'm scrolling through and just kind of peeking out some things. What do you got for me?
All right, let's take a walk in the past, shall we?
Sure.
It's 2013. You just brought your PS4 home, and you're an absolute nerd. So you crack it open. You want to know what's inside of that thing before you turn it on. Even what you find is a essentially. I'm not. It's not the same CPU, but essentially a direct comparison, we'll say, to the CPU in the Xbox Series S, but not the X, but the S. You'll find an 18 QU's 152 GPU cores running at 800 megahertz, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good. 2013, that was like same as it is now. You couldn't build a computer for the price that you could go out and buy this console. And that's usually how console releases are. So how does the 2013 stack up against like the Xbox Series X? Or not, yeah, the Xbox Series S. So the Xbox Series S right now is running a 20 CUs, 1.565 gigahertz. That's what it's running at. And it's running decently, like it runs at a pretty efficient rate. So the efficiency rate over what was running back then is 66%. So just the sheer amount of technology that we've had to become more efficient, it's running only two more CUs, but it's running at 66% the efficiency.
Hmm.
So if you jump up to like 2017, and I'm comparing this to the PS4 because the PS4 ran essentially AMD chips, so it actually can be a pretty direct comparison. Um, the Xbox obviously didn't. However, like the Xbox, when they came out with like the pro versions of the consoles, if you will, they in 2017, like the first ones, they upgraded the GPU to a 36 CUs. They added more cores. They added a higher clock speed. The clock speed is 911 gigahertz. Or gigahertz, megahertz. Sorry, gigahertz would be we'd have a nuclear issue with how fast that would be.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at it like, whoa.
Yeah. Uh, so with the difference, I did some really quick math. It's very quick, very rough math.
All
Um,
right.
the Xbox Series S, because the Xbox Series S should be around like 20 to 26% faster than the PS4 Pro, and it should be like 18 to 24% faster than the Xbox One, like the Pro versions of those consoles for
Right.
GPU only, not CPU or NVMe or M.2, whatever you want to call it. So for graphical explanation, there it is. There's the tech behind the graphics.
Right. So the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X,
Hmm.
those are practically doing what the Xbox Series S is going to be doing, just
Correct.
a little bit slower. But I kind of think that that's the goal for Xbox moving forward is to have their lower tier models just a little bit of an little bit of an uptick from last gen, which it is. and their big box is clearly the next gen machine that's really going to be pushing things forward for them and the games that they're going to be making going forward. And like the performance target they have here for the S, it's 1440p.
Mm-hmm.
That's practically what you're getting with the Pro and the X
Yep.
at this point, because they're kind of faking the 4K. It's just upscaled. All right, well, X is a little bit better at it, but the PS4 Pro doesn't quite get there with a lot of things.
Yeah,
So
I mean that makes sense. You're obviously you're taking a little bit more of a hit in other areas, but the big thing that that's gonna kind of come out of this too is, or you'll probably be able to get like an Xbox One, the whatever their Pro version is, I forget what they call it.
oh, what X, man? They didn't change
Oh, is
the
it?
the letters. They just added
Oh,
series
the
instead of one.
Xbox One X. My bad.
No.
That'll like, even though it is comparably GPU wise, only like 22% less at most. Everything else is so astronomically better that it like, you'll notice the difference literally in the loading screen. Just your ability to turn the console on, you will notice such a difference. If you turned
Right.
on the console beside, side by side, you're gonna be already in a game by the time the Xbox One X will even turn on. You would have already been in a game by the Xbox Series X if you were fast enough.
Mm, right.
So that SSD is gonna come in pretty large.
Nice. So with all that Xbox news, PlayStation fans were getting a little upset,
A
and
little, a little bit.
Twitter was ablaze for quite a few days. There was one day, I think it was Friday, that everybody was anticipating some sort of surprise event by PlayStation. Didn't end up happening. It was later in that day, or I think it might have been Saturday, that they announced that in fact they are going to have a showcase. It's soon. It's coming this Wednesday on September 16th. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Pacific. I think that puts it at 3 Eastern.
Yes, it does.
So that alone is exciting. Um, Clearly, we're going to get, or hopefully, but at this point, I imagine that we're going to get the prices for both the disc and discless editions of PlayStation 5, along with a bunch of other things, because from reports, I guess they said it's going to be, now this is right on the PlayStation blog. So they said it's going to be a 40-minute um, showcase, and it will feature updates on the latest titles from worldwide studios and our world-class development partners.
Ooh, so we might get some
So
games too.
yeah, I imagine that there'll be a few surprises in there, one or two things, maybe some more gameplay, and yeah, just some more gameplay for Spider-Man Miles Morales. I was going to say release date, but I imagine it'll probably be the same day as the console.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm super stoked for this. There was a mild rumor out there as to one of the surprises. The I guess one of the developers from Square Enix commented on the announcement, and it was quickly deleted by the same account.
Oh snap!
Um, so a lot of people are anticipating a Final Fantasy announcement for PlayStation 5 as an exclusive, or at least a slotted exclusive like Final Fantasy 7 remake was.
What about maybe more details on Elder Scrolls as well though?
That is I don't know if that's quite as likely. I think that Bethesda's just kind of going
Look,
to keep that under their own hat.
look. Can I have a wish? Can I have a dream? I just want
If you
Elder
want to,
Scrolls 6, okay?
if you want to wish and you want to dream of Rockstar and
Yeah,
dream of
yeah.
GTA 6, because I think that if anything was going to be exclusive for PlayStation 5 and anything that they're going to really shell out for, I think that they're going to really try and push for that. I doubt it's going to happen, but I think that that is alone really really exciting. If you think about PlayStation's history with the Grand Theft Auto franchise and it being one of the best selling titles on each of their consoles every time. Um, and it wasn't exclusive for a really long time for them until I think four.
San Andreas.
Uh,
Oh no, it was no, no, no.
I
San
think
Andreas was
four
before four.
was San Andreas on Xbox.
San Andreas was on Xbox. It was not released on Xbox like originally. However, it did get a Xbox 360 release.
Hmm, okay, okay. So it eventually came there, but I think the first real multi-platform one was four, and then
Yeah,
five obviously sold gangbusters on anything that had a screen.
dude, I've
So
played fucking GTA 5 on calculators before. I swear to God.
I know, yeah, that and Skyrim, man, they're both neck and neck.
Oh
But,
man. All right.
yeah, I'm super excited for this Wednesday. I'm pumped to see what they're actually going to come out with, when their what their prices are, and when the release date is going to be. If they're just going to straight up match Xbox, or they're going to come earlier, or they're going to come later. It's all this speculation that we could come up with. But if I wanted to get one thing out of you,
Yo.
what do you think? What do you think one super big surprise game that they could announce would be?
All right. Well, get ready. I'm gonna have you think about this while I'm doing mine. So the one thing I want to get out of you is tell me the price difference between them. What do you think they're gonna come in price wise? So I'll let you think about that. Uh I think that we are gonna see. I mean, shit. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with my gut, man. I think that we're actually gonna see more information on the Elder Scrolls. I really do. It's been what, over a year since we had literally just a single screenshot of like a emblem that the game, like, just to tell people, hey, this game is in production. I think
Mm-hmm.
that we're gonna get maybe a tease of like what we might see towards the center of the console's life, maybe another 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
Okay, all right.
I know it's a
Um,
stretch, but
Dude, I'm right there with you. I can't wait to see more Elder Scrolls. It's gonna be, I mean, just for as long as we've had Skyrim in our lives, I can only imagine that the next Elder Scrolls is gonna have even longer of a lifespan. So
oh
they're
yeah,
really gonna give that bad boy some content. But as for the prices,
yeah. What's it gonna come in
yeah,
at?
I think that if they really, really want to be competitive with Xbox, which they definitely 100% can't be competitive with the $300 price tag with the lower tier Xbox Series S. But if they really want to be competitive with the Xbox Series X, I think that they'll slate their disc version of the console at 499,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll this I feel like would be pushing the envelope for them getting the digital version sold, but I think that they'll try their hardest and maybe take a loss on the console and put the digital edition at a price tag of 399.
Yeah, I could see that. I will tell you right now, if their console, their discless is literally the same exact console but without a disc, and they
Mm-hmm.
set it at 399, they're flying off the shelf. You cannot find them off
Oh
the
yeah,
shelf in comparison to what the Xbox Series S will sell.
yeah,
Y-
absolutely. I think that drives the customer base of PlayStation towards that digital edition far more than if, say, it was $50 cheaper. And I think that yeah, I would have said that the PlayStation disc edition would have been at maybe 550,
Mhm.
and the disc edition maybe 450 if they really wanted to kind of play with those numbers. But I think the 499 and the 399 are the 99 is the biggest part of that, where it's not crossing over to that bigger front number of 5 and 4. So I think that, yeah, that's a good price point for them both. And they could play around with the digital edition's price a little bit, because I think that the main event, clearly the disc edition, is going to be the one that most hardcore physical collectors are going to go
Mhm.
for.
Yeah, for sure.
I do think that the design of the disc edition is a little worse than the digital edition. I think the digital edition is exactly what they imagined the PlayStation 5 looking like, where it has that nice V shape, and but the disc drive just seems a little weird to me um,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
on the silhouette. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be excited for this week. I can't wait to finally hear that news. We're gonna have so much to talk about on next week's podcast.
Might just be a PlayStation podcast, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it could be just PlayStation podcast. I mean, maybe Xbox will fire back with some crazy announcements after the show. They do seem to be just trading blows. I imagined that PlayStation would step up to the plate quickly, but I didn't imagine it would be literally the next week. So it's all really exciting, man. I'm super pumped. Gaming is just going to get better from here, and I love that they're both pushing the envelope on each other, so that gaming is just better and better each year. So
I agree.
um, that's everything this week, and like I said, we're gonna have so much to talk about next week. So make sure you guys tune in. Go over to our Facebook page, give us a like, follow, and make sure you hit our YouTube page and subscribe there, because we're constantly putting up this podcast over there, so all the subscribers over there helps us all the more. And like I said, I'm posting more on Instagram, so we're gonna have some interesting stuff up there, all kinds of screenshots from the games announced at the PlayStation event. I just posted a happy birthday to the PlayStation 1 over there, because
Yo,
it was PlayStation's birthday on last Thursday. So loved that console, man. And having Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 back, yeah, with their remake, is super nostalgic for me. And I was like, oh man, I missed the PlayStation 1 so much.
great
But
console. Great console.
yeah, that's everything for us this week. And for more, just stay tuned. Peace.
Peace.